Hey team, it's Mr. Del Mar, aka Matthew Galbraith, coming at you from the Team Horseplayer Horse Racing Academy. I'd like to talk to you a bit about my favorite races and one of the best things this site has to offer, and that's any race where the horses are either early in their 4-year-old careers, all throughout their 3-year-old careers, late in their 2-year-old careers, and still lightly raced. See, pedigree equals prices, and pedigree is king in these races. A lot of people just look to the first out stats, they give up on a horse. Well, the most excusable race a horse will ever run is its debut effort. Debuts are forgivable because the horse is learning something brand new. It's in front of thousands of people, hopefully, besides Del Mar. There's a lot of commotion going on and things of that nature. There's a larger field. So you can always forgive a debut. A lot of people give up on a runner and they miss the great second out price. Now, in a horse's second lifetime start, much like the debut is the most excusable race you'll ever find, the second lifetime start is the biggest improvement you'll ever see in a good racehorse's career. They jump up huge there. So you can't give up on a horse. I like to give 4 starts to any runner before I evaluate whether they're living up to their pedigree or they are not. And of course, trainer angles come into this as well. Okay, so when it comes to pedigree, I'd love to tell you, I can't. But it's for all of our benefit, and that's because pedigree equals prices. But what I will do is, anytime you need a pedigree rating, just simply ask on the form. It's free of charge. I'll rate any race you want, so long as it's applicable. I'm here for you. It's free. So that's the edge you have in this game. You don't have to spend hours every night doing what it is I do, going through the ancient lines looking for Rasmussen crosses and dam sires and keeping up with the market, which is ever evolving. A sire is basically a good sire only if he's bred to the right mares. So it's much like a stock market. It's speculative on how a sire will perform. So it changes frequently, but it will always be rated for you. I'm always on top of it. So when it comes to pedigree, just go ahead and scratch that off your list and just say go to teamhorseplayer.com, go to Talk Horse Racing, ask Mr. Del Mar. He's got you covered. It's free. Okay, so the things that now come into play for you outside of pedigree are going to be workouts, conditioning. Is the horse fit and ready? Well, one of the great tools I like to use, and it's a very basic guideline, but that's what I like to call the rule of 12. In order to deem a workout speedy or race-ready speed, I like to see at least, I should say at most, 12 seconds per furlong, or faster. So if you got a 3 furlong work, you want to see 36 seconds or faster. 4 furlong work, 48 seconds or faster. 5 furlong work, it's a little trickier, but you could say a minute or faster. I prefer to see 59 or faster. As the distance increases, it gets tougher because the horse may not be asked to the last quarter. They could be galloping for the first start. So if you're looking for speed, look more to the 3 and 4 furlongs. But do keep in mind that distance is just as important, if not more important than speed. If you have a horse that's posting 36 flat works, 35 and change, at going 3 furlongs, then he's going sub 48 for 4 furlongs, but he's never tried 5 furlongs, and he's debuting in a 6 furlong race. How can you expect that horse to get that distance? How can you predict that? Well, one thing I will say is if he's got a long string of 5 furlong works, chances are he can adapt to the 6 furlong distance, but it's very nice to see a horse work at the distance that he's going to be debuting at or racing at. Okay, so those are the workouts. Do keep in mind that distance is extremely important. Now for the next most important thing, and that's the trainer. The trainer is not a babysitter. The jockey is not a passenger. They are key to a runner's success. Many jockeys are game changers. Many trainers are not looking to win first out. Over here on this circuit, I could cite a few, like a Paddy Gallagher, a Neil Drysdale. They're not interested in winning first out. They're usually getting group type of horses, a lot of times turf horses, and they're trying to school them in those early races to teach them what racing's all about, and they're looking at a later date to get that distance muscle built up. So you might see some great works out of that runner, but you're seeing a 5% first out stat, which is basically a fluke. So then you'll find a great trainer like Adam Kitchingman, who's terrific with Winterly. You'll find a Walter Solis, who's great with 2-year-olds. You'll find a Richard Mandela who can do just about anything, one of my favorite trainers. And then you'll see somebody like Bob Baffert, who is almost untouchable. It's foolish to bet against him at this point in any maiden races with the debuter, unless it's maiden claiming. See, he's got the higher stock. That's why he's winning his races. He's got $500,000 horses facing $30,000 horses. So the trainer does come into play, and be a bit more lenient with that debut stat. It's extremely tough to win a debut. 15% is not a knock there. It's a plus. If you see a trainer getting 20% or better in the debut stat, that's great. See a guy like Bob Backer hitting better 30%? Take heed, my friends. Hey, that horse is conditioned. He's one of the best conditioners in the game, if not the best. Okay, so we understand that the trainer is key. He's not a babysitter. But also pay attention to see if there's a Mike Pipey kind of trainer who's better second out. Pay attention to those stats. Look for those second start stats. And once again, be a bit lenient with that. It's even tough to win a second start. Okay, so we've gone over the trainer. Now we'll talk a bit about a debut. I spoke about how a debut is extremely tough to win. It's also the most forgivable race a racehorse will ever run. You can toss it out if it's bad. If it's good, then it's great. If the horse is having a tough time dealing with all the commotion, all the crowds. This is brand new to him. So if a horse runs poorly in a debut, don't just toss him out there. It's not about first out stats. It's about win early stats. I actually give a horse 4 races before I give up on him with the pedigree. See, a lot of horses don't live up to their pedigree. Maybe they were crossed one too many times. They're kind of a mutant. And sometimes that works out great, like we saw with Big Brown with that boundary cross of the Northern Dancer. And the horse was a freak. So, pedigree, just be a bit patient with it. Give it 4 races. In fact, if it runs terrible in the debut, you know that its second lifetime start is going to be the biggest improvement ever seen in most racehorses' careers. Then great, you're probably going to get a better price. So don't be so quick to judge a horse there. Give them 4 starts, see if they live up to the pedigree. And of course, use the ratings here at teamhorseplayer.com and Talk Horse Racing. I'll always provide you with that. So we've gone over workouts, we've gone over training, we've talked about debuts being forgivable, we've talked about the rule of 12, we've talked about the rule of 4 as well, in order in evaluating whether the horse is going to live up to the pedigree or not, and trainer angles. And that's a great start for you. But I see a lot of players that just go all in those races, and it pollutes their pick 6 because there's no need for an all. These things can be narrowed down. They are extremely predictable. They're my favorite races to play. In fact, I'm more comfortable with them than I am, lower level planning races and things of that nature. So come here for your pedigree ratings. Pay attention to Rule 12 on the workouts. Make sure that's confirmed with a good clocking report by a reputable clocker. We recommend Andy Harrington. We believe he's the best in the business. You can find him at nationalturf.com, and I have no problem giving him a plug. He's the best there is, in my opinion. So check him out. He's great. Check out our site for your pedigree ratings. Make sure you pay attention to your trainer. And don't be scared of maiden special weights, maiden claimers, N2Ls, allowance 40s any longer. And come here. We got you covered. Pedigree equals prices, and we're here for you.